So a bipartisan group of senators, led by the majority leader, Chuck Schumer, is out now with a long-awaited plan that deals, they say, with artificial intelligence. The result of a years-long review, it calls for $32 billion in annual spending on research and development, and it comes as the White House is releasing a set of principles for using AI in the workplace. And those principles, they say, are aimed at just protecting employees. Joining us now is Cory Johnson, Futurum's chief market strategist. He hosted the Drill Down podcast, and he's here in New York, which is nice. Good to see you in person.
Big city, just like I pictured it.
It's like,
skyscrapers and everything.
It feels small, though, when you walk around for a little while. What do you think of this as, you and I have talked about AI on this show a lot.
Yeah.
I'll put some of these principles up on the screen that the White House is unveiling. They say that, to work AI in the workplace. We all have to work with it. Does this approach make sense to you?
Absolutely. It's hard to overemphasize how important AI is going to be in our future and how it creates new possibilities for computing and new possibilities for our world.
Yeah.
And some of those possibilities are truly frightening. Weapons that might automatically target people and pull the trigger based on their own decisions. That's a possibility that AI can have, or not, right? Cybersecurity problems that evolve by themselves and attack when they see an opportunity to make money. We have to establish a set of sort of moral rules and business rules and legal rules and international rules to keep those things from happening and get all the great things that AI can do for us.
Which are what? I don't think we do a great job of explaining that. We do a terrific job of scaring people and saying that, the robots are going to take over for the humans and, the end of humanity is coming.
No one's mad about washing machines and vacuum cleaners and toasters and microwaves, right? The technology that we put to work to do the things that we want to do and take away the drudgery of our lives. We saw a big move towards that 100 years ago with those technologies I just mentioned, right? Refrigerators, right? But the idea that you can get rid of even more drudgery in your work, trying to find the right answer trying to find a way to stop procrastinating. You go into OpenAI and chat in, how do I stop procrastinating to do this task? And it might give you, figure out answers to little problems like that really help move you along and do great things. I use AI all day long, every day.
What's the biggest way you use it, would you say?
So I'm not a programmer, but I do a ton of work in Microsoft Excel. Okay. So I'm quite often trying to improve the formulas that I've been using for years and make my models work better to do better predictions of what certain companies are going to do based on what they've done in the past and based on using more inputs than I ever could do before.
And what does it do for you? It makes you more efficient. You're working faster than you were in the past?
Now I'm working just as much. I'm just doing more. I'm getting a lot more done in the same amount of time. I wish I was going home earlier and spending more time with my family. But that's not the case. I'm not that person. I'm just going to work.
That does depend on the individual, doesn't it?
Well, I think what's really interesting is that the work that we do is going to require more of our minds and less of our time.
Right.
So we're going to think a lot more about how we do the things that we do. We're going to think how to ask the right questions because getting the answers is going to be so much easier.
All right, that's enough of the good stuff. What about the scary side of it? Especially, let me talk about China for a moment. What was that?
Let's.
Oh, let's do it, yeah. Let's talk about China for a moment. Geneva, they had this meeting, U.S. and China. When we first read about it, they said, we have this common enemy and we're going to work together. And I said, well, I don't know. That doesn't sound like the U.S. and China very much these days. So what about China and AI and how much of a threat there is from China and how do we combat it?
Well, the U.S. is taking a multi-pronged or multi-faceted approach to China. And on one hand, they've got the big stick, and on the other side, they've got the carrot. So the meeting you're mentioning in Geneva says to China, look, nobody wants weapons that target themselves by computers. We want to have a set of principles that we would maybe all agree on. On the other hand, the U.S. is banning the import of the most powerful semiconductors and the equipment that can make them. The U.S. is banning certain, threatening to raise a lot of these tariffs as well, President Biden announced yesterday. So by offering a chance to come into the global community to China, at the same time as saying, we're not going to help you develop the best chips and get the most powerful tools to build your own AI nightmare, it's trying to encourage China to do the right thing.
Some people were saying yesterday about that Biden's more targeted than Trump. Do you think that's fair? Is that, in other words, Trump was just get rid of it?
Well, earlier in the show, you were talking about inflation, right?
Yes.
So here, President Biden wants to tell China not to sell certain things and raise the prices of things through tariffs. When tariffs increase the prices that the tariff, if we raise tariffs in America on Chinese products, American prices go up. What's President Biden fighting like crazy? Inflation. So targeted, strategic, surgical tariffs might help China try to do the right thing without raising prices in the U.S.
Thanks so much for watching. Just go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.